What's up, hobby maniacs? MBG here today with my newest video tutorial. Now, the past couple of weeks, I've been getting kind of lucky. I've been able to do, some codex like kind of reviews and tactics. We did a three-part video series for the Eldar book, and then we did a two-parter on the Knight Codex. But now we're back to the models because it's all about the hobby here. So I'm going to show you how to put together and some tips and tricks for using the Forge World Chaos Hellblade. Now it's a really nifty fighter. It kind of came out, I guess, about 2005, 2006. Really exciting model, but do not sleep on this kit. You have to use all of your hobby know-how to put this thing together because it's going to come warped. There's plastic, like kind of cardstock clear plastic parts that you're going to want to add to the cockpit area. There's a whole lot of things to take a look at. And then the biggest one is this flight stand doesn't even fit on the model. So like, what are you supposed to do there, right? So it's it's kind of like a modeler's dilemma, like kind of a semi-nightmare, and a lot of people are taking these in like 2s and 3s. So you're definitely gonna want you're probably going to need some help with this kit. I mean, it's a really exciting kit, but it gave me a couple of fits in a couple places, and I couldn't even imagine putting 3 of them together without doing all the prep work and things, bending parts, getting everything lined up, ready to go. So I'm going to show you some of those tricks, how to get that together there. Now, this is going to be something that Kenny's going to be painting down the line over at Next Level Painting. So, hopefully here in the near future, we will have some tutorials on how to paint the Hell Talon because, airbrushing and everything is great, and this really lends itself well to weathering and things like that. But then when it comes down to, there's a lot of trim on there that has to get painted by hand too. So this is a really good opportunity to kind of showcase, kind of taking it from, putting it together and then kicking it over to Kenny, and we're going to try to get that painted up here, sometime in the early summer for you guys. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, to head on over to the Long War because we got a lot of stuff going on over there and we need your support. You can become a veteran of the Long War for free. There's a lot of exclusive content over there and early access videos, and what it does is actually help to support us in a lot of the endeavors that we're doing. We give you back some, like, cool content, some early access stuff. It's all ad-free, for the first week, so you guys can hit it up. You're not bogged down by all those ads and everything. So we definitely appreciate your support there. And obviously, check out Next Level Paintings videos as well. Everything's all over there, all in nice and neat one place. So you can get the Spiky Bits videos, you can get your Long War videos, and you can get your Next Level Painting videos. So without further ado, let's check out this new fighter. Alright, so here we go. First thing you do, grab your bag. You want to check all your parts. Just kind of dump them out, check them out. Now, I've already pre-bent a lot of things here. These instructions are pretty much useless. Unfortunately, this is probably one of the most useless Forge World manuals they have ever made. It's pretty much just a gallery of, hey, try to figure out where the parts go. Because they don't line up. Well, they do line up once you figure out where they go, but they don't really tell you where to go. Like I said, I've already pre-bent all of the resin because a lot of it came kind of wonky, especially the stuff at the very tips of the Hellblade itself. Now, it does come up with a flying stand, and we're going to cover that here a little bit later in this video about how silly that kind of is, to be honest. So first thing you do, bust out all your parts. So you're going to have a part that kind of goes on the back and kind of forms the rest of the ship. You're going to have a little clear plastic part to cut up and add to the canopy, a pilot, a couple of fins for the front, a couple of engine thrusters for the back, a main engine, topper, for lack of a better term, a couple of chaos symbols, the machine guns, and the little, socket for the flying stand itself. We'll talk about that in a little while. So first off, just grab your model, line it all up, make sure everything's, kind of looking right. If you have to go bend your resin, go ahead and do it at this point because you don't want to get started gluing stuff down and realize that you have to bend all your parts. Now, the cockpit piece is actually going to form with the back half of the fuselage, so you have to glue that down first, which really isn't a big deal. It kind of snaps right in as long as it's kind of formed correctly. So you don't want to you want to make sure everything's bent. All those forks of the Hellblade is bent too, and you can tell by taking the little fillet, the little wing fairing that's going to go on the front, and just kind of lock it into its little holes. And if it looks flush and everything looks good to go there, then you know that you got a good cast. Now, if you do that and that fairing looks straight, but it doesn't line up with the wings, then you know you got to fix your wings. So just grab your Insecure here. Now this is Bob Smith Industries. I think you can get it at most hobby stores in various forms. It's gonna have a little sticker on it, like where you bought it from. Hobbytown has it if you're near a Hobbytown. And just throw some glue on there onto your models. Now if you put too much on one spot, you can do what I did and just kind of grab a paper towel and just kind of dab it over to the other location on the model. Just gonna kind of hit it up, get a nice kind of coat for it to lock into. Now I realize this in a second here, but I went a little too far with the glue. That actually part's exposed. That's part of the main engine section there. That's gonna kind of stick out the back. So I messed that up, but I fixed it real quick. With the glue, you can always go back, you know, and kind of scrape it out if it actually, you know, manages to dry and you don't get it up. If not, you can take a damp paper towel and kind of you know, kind of get it up really quick. It's pretty easy. Now the cockpit will fit on there, like you see there. Boom, good to go. And there's actually a little pilot that sticks in there too that you can pre-assemble. But before you do all that, this is the part where you're gonna want to take that clear plastic piece and you're gonna want to cut it down. And if you're gonna want to cut more than one, you're probably gonna want to cut about 3 of each one to go in there around the actual cockpit. I guess support structure, the armor plate itself. And it's a very delicate balance when you're putting it together, because you want to put glue around the edges on the inside, but you want to place the little plastic on there just so it doesn't smear and kind of stick out. And it's very precarious and it's very fiddly, but with a little practice you can do it. And that's why I'm saying cut out more of those plastic pieces than you're going to need. And you saw the little pilot that locks in there too. Now it's time to do some engine work. So grab your back main engine thruster there. You may have to carve out the inside a little bit. It's got a little nub that lines up right there, you can see. Just throw some glue on there and then it should lock right in. Super easy, as long as that inside area is kind of cleaned out. Now mine came with a little bit of resin, so I had to work on that a little bit, but then it locks right in. There's a little slot that goes right into the little hole on the main fuselage. Good to go. Then the main armament is actually kind of like an assembly in and of itself. It's going to lock into the intakes where there's some little slots, and then it's got that long flat piece as well that locks on to the bottom fuselage. So you can see right there those grooves I just glued onto them, because I know that that's going to lock in to the intake area, and I missed a little spot, so I wanted to hit that up too, because I want to get a nice good seal here. Now it's got those little guides you can see on each side of it, and then there's a little nub on the back that it locks right into. So as long as you've bent your resin correctly into, you know, a pretty good straight plane, this should be no problem at all if it came a little warped. So that's the key to making sure that all this stuff, there's a lot of dry fitting before you get to the part to glue it, and just to line things up, because you don't want to actually apply glue and then realize, oh, this thing's, you know, pointed at the moon. The guns are pointed one way and the plane's, you know, pointed another. You don't want that. So it goes together pretty quick. Like I said, once you get to this point, super easy. And then there's the money shot. You can tell that all the bending and stuff that I did actually worked out pretty well. Now we have a whole nother tutorial, and that's why I'm not going to really show it to you in this, on bending resin. You can click on the link right there and it'll take you right over to that video too, because most of these Forge World items, you know, they come right out of the molds and they just kind of plop them on the table to dry, and they may or may not dry in the shape that you need. A lot of times they don't. So you got to do a little bit of work. Remember, Forge World, it's for, you know, it's not for just any hobbyist. So it does require a lot of work and a lot of those skills out there in the hobby arsenal, in your hobby arsenal, and you'll be able to pick up on these tutorials. Now putting a little fillet, the little winglets on the front, super easy. There's 3 little slots that just lock right into it. So once you get those done, the ship really starts to take shape at that point. Now there's a few more pieces in the back engine area to go on. It's like a couple of like retro thrusters, I guess, and like just kind of like a general extra thrusters that kind of form, take up a lot of that flat surface there. Now this part is a little tight, so make sure that you file it out and scrape it out if there's any mold material in there, or any mold lines themselves, because it can be a little tight, and you want to make sure that you get a nice good fit in there and that it holds good. It took me a few extra minutes on this one because I didn't quite check it as well as I should have, but I got it there at the end, definitely. So super easy spot. There's just the 2 flat panels that you're gonna add glue to, and then you're gonna lock those little thruster pipe assemblies into there. And it really starts looking pretty cool in the back. You're like, once you put out that rear fuselage piece on, you're like, what the heck? What goes under this? There's a lot of space here. But then start realizing, oh man, there's a lot of space there. So to fill up with all these details. So once you get all that done, now there's a little bit of a problem. Now you start to see what's going on. So you got this little socket piece that's completely square. And the whole bottom is, basically pointed. It's bent, it's convex, whatever word you want to use there. So that's not going to work. And then of course you can't really use the flying stand because it has to lock into that. And it has to be plain. So what I'm going to do is take a 1/4 inch clear plastic rod. Now you can use a 1/4 inch wooden dowel too, as long as it's 1/4 inch. And I'm going to drill it out right at the spot that you kind of saw there that I think that the center of mass is going to be at. The center of mass is always an issue. So first of all, I drilled a little pilot hole with a pin vise. Then I'm going to use about 1/16 to 1/8 inch drill bit there, just to kind of dig it out a little bit more, slowly making these bigger and bigger holes. Then I'm going to drag my 1/4 inch drill bit in there. I'm going to do it really slow, try to stay nice and flush, perpendicular to the model, get a nice good hole there, and then I'm going to make sure that it fits nice and snug with my clear plastic rod. And it looks like everything was good to go after a little work, taking it slow, working it back and forth. And, it locks right in there, so that's going to be a good fit on that flying stand. So then, that's pretty much it. You got it. It took a lot to get to this point, but we're there. We did it. Don't glue down your cockpit because you want to paint that guy in there. And everything else should be good to go. Alright guys, well I hope you really enjoyed that video tutorial. Obviously there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this model, but hopefully with a little help in this tutorial you can knock these things out really quick, because there's nothing better than one of these than 2 or 3 of these on the tabletop. It's a fantastic model. I really enjoyed putting it together, and I can't wait for Kenny to paint these up to see what they're going to look like. So that's about it for this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my latest video tutorial for y'all. Got some special stuff lined up for the next one. We'll see if I can knock it out in time. But until then, make sure you stay in the trenches, subscribe to this YouTube channel, check out the blog, spikybitsblog.com, and head on over to Longmore and become a veteran of the Longmore today.
Yo, Hobby Maniacs, thanks for checking out my channel. Don't forget, there's tons of other tutorials, unboxings, and tips and tactics videos on here as well. And make sure you visit my best friend Kenny B's fresh hobby channel over on Next Level Painting.